Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Falun and the Nordic World Championships for the final event of the day. It is, of course, the men who go big on the ski jumping hill.
Severin Freund, 135 meters. He was equaled last evening by Rune Velta. And of course, that was after a 90-minute weather delay because of the strength of the wind. So here is this big hill. This is the hill that's undergone more modifications than, say, the normal hill. Effectively, it's been lifted about 5 meters up. And where the table is now is where the guard walls used to be back in 1993. In 1993, well, it was the likes of Masahiko Harada who took the gold medal on the normal hill and Espen Bredesen on the big hill. These are the men marking for style out of 20. And if you're not familiar, then it's the highest and lowest who are discarded and the other 3 marks added together with the distance points to give the overall performance for each of the athletes. Walter Hofer is the race director, celebrated his 60th birthday last night with a glass or two with the athletes and the media up in the athletes zone by the hill. And the technical delegate in terms of the jury, Sandro Pertile from Italy, Anders Lind from Sweden, and Thomas Hasselberger, the assistant technical delegate. Well, they make up the jury. Stefan Kraft there in really good humor, I have to say, but there is a terrific spirit around the camp. And of course, a lot of eyes are on Noriaki Kasai, but here is the order in which they'll start. And you can see Michael Glasner there of the United States, a little story about him. Of course, Nicholas Alexander was unfortunately injured in the mixed team event, so Michael Glasner came in at 2:30 yesterday morning to replace him. When he got here, he thought he would jump in the trial round, because obviously he'd missed all the training. But then the trial round was cancelled, but they gave him a trial jump of his own just before the competition, and that's why he actually went out of order yesterday, if you were with us. There's Jani Ahonen, no stranger to World Championship gold medals. But as we work our way down the order here, just worth reminding you 1 or 2 people who've come into this competition in replacement of their respective teammates. For example, Marinus Klaus for Germany. He's been replaced by Markus Eisenbichler, wearing bib number 37 today. And Thomas Diethard for Austria has given away to Poppinger. And Andy Korfler has gone home to Austria. Yuri Tepes for Slovenia. His place is now taken by Macias Pungatar. And of course, Poland, because they have Kamil Stoch as the defending champion, actually have 5 athletes in the lineup. So here we go, the big hill competition. And sit back with myself, David Goldstrom, and Eurosport's Nordic team. Enjoy this one. This is the man who was drafted in at the last minute to take the place of the injured Nicholas Alexander. No training, just 1 jump before last night's qualification. Michael Glasner, USA, gets the roar. And short of the calculation line. And Michael Glasner there with 102.5 meters. Well, that might be the only jump that he makes today. Luca Egloff will be next for Switzerland. Luca, just 19 years of age, and potentially the Swiss here with a group of athletes who will compete over the weekend in the team event. This is all about experience for Luca. And again, 105 meters, so 15 meters off. And in terms of deduction, that means instead of getting 60 points for distance, he really sacrifices a lot of points there. 48.5 instead of 60. Now Federico Chacon, of course his dad, a great achiever in this sport, Roberto. The telemarks there, but in the order of about 6 points, which translated into distances about 3¼ meters. And there you can see 7.2 the deduction there for Federico Ceccon of Italy. Next man up, you can see the Estonian flags there. Martti Numme from the Võru Sports School. They have a normal hill in Estonia. Big hills. They have to travel to train on. The traditional training ground would be Lahti. And Martti, really difficult to, but finished 46 in the end, so didn't quite make that second round. And there you can see 96 meters. And these are the men who struggled to get 100 points yesterday. Well, one of the more versatile, as you see Gregor Schlierenzau there. At the moment, the world not going as he would wish for him. Now, versatile is Yevgeny Klimov. He's a Nordic combiner as well as a special jumper for Russia. And this is where he really makes an impact at the moment. 12.5 meters. But even with that 5-meter deduction for win, 9.3 points, 9 points would be 5 meters exactly. And the first of the Koreans, arguably the most successful, bumped into Wolfgang Hartmann this morning, the man who coaches the Koreans. Anywhere near the investment that's required to bring on the new generation. So it really doesn't bode well for 2018, when the South Koreans will welcome the Olympic world to their shores. Here's a man who's making a bit of an impact. You just saw him there, Matthias Suppan. Well, a lot of people would wish that he could turn this young man's world around. Kornilov. And that is better. It hasn't been giant strides since Matthias went there, but this is his first season as the head coach, working with the national coaches. He didn't have a successful time in the years before coaching the French, but certainly there are better signs here. Kornilov back on his heels, and you could see on the telemark landing the reasons why the judges would bring those marks down to 17. And next man to go, this is Sabirjan Muminov for Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan at the moment continue to be a long way off where they would wish to be in terms of competitive ski jumping. Kazakhs, of course, with great thoughts on 2022 if they could win the Olympic bid over Beijing. And the wind really beginning to turn a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little backwind coming in here before the competition is over. Sebastian Colorado, another man to accumulate less than 100 points yesterday. And I have to say that alongside Slovenia into the North Austria, and you can just see how disappointed he is. It was thus on the normal hill that a lot of the athletes here found it really hard to get to grips with the normal hill, and not all of them have been harmonized with this big hill. But here is a man who back in 2007 was the world silver medalist on the big hill. But I fear is going no further in this competition. Harry Ollie, the name, who coached the likes of Tommy Niemann and Adam Mauish, yet to turn the corner for Harry. Well, Jani Ahonen, world champion in Oberstdorf on the big hill, and a world champion back in 1997 on the normal hill in Trondheim. Yanni Klinger with the responsibility, and Janne, the man who has also been under special tutoring by Hannu Lepisto. Well, the steps are small ones. The progress that Jan is making, 118.5, shy of the calculation line. This man who holds the record for 4 Hills victories, 5 of them. Nobody's ever done as well as Jan, winner of the World Cup in his time. But it's really difficult to see him challenging at the moment. Never won an individual Olympic gold medal. Built specially for the championships, I suppose you'd call it a monorail that takes the lads up to the start. And here comes the 2015 Universiade champion, Bulgaria's Zagravsky. Do you know, the desire is there, but and things went much better. I'm talking about 2012, but on the in-run, the position and the transition just not working. Ronan Nami Chapuis. Couldn't handle Austria's Bernie Gruber, who I saw literally 10 minutes before we started this big hill competition, and the beam on his face was as wide as I've ever seen. Fantastic achievement, and well done to him and the Austrian Nordic combined team. Another of the younger Swiss contenders here. This is Kilian Payer, 6th in the recent Junior Worlds. And you can see nobody coming up yet to the calculation line. 117. So just at this moment, Jani Ahonen leading from Russia's Denis Kornilov. Payer into 3rd place. Jani Ahonen, the only athlete with more than 100 points, and this is Maxim Oshkin. It's measuring the relationship of the wind strengths in relation to the athlete's position as he takes off, but still predominantly front wind. But as I said, I can see some backwind coming into this competition, maybe in the 2nd round. Jakub Jander, one of the veteran performers, but a vital cog in the Czech wheel. Still got the courage to be that aggressive, but so Jander. Just a reminder that a year ago we had a warm-up event here, but I'll pause to see the first of the Polish 5. 5 because the defending champion Stoch is allowed to come in his own right, and Klemens Maranka, well, he managed that pretty well. You could see the differential between the right and the left skis, and we've been waiting all season for these young Polish boys to really step up. And Maranka has been getting just that little bit better, jump by jump, competition by competition. Junior World silver medalist 2 seasons ago. Bit strappy on the landing. That will ruin his chances of getting an 18. But 123 meters. First man into bonus point territory. New leader, 109.8. And that could well see him into the 2nd round. So from one Polish aspirant to another, Dawid Kubacki, who has this imbalance as he comes off the table, which causes him to fade over to his right. It's not ideal because you do give away distance. And just looked to be the wrong side of the calculation line there. The Polish fans as supportive as ever, and 115.5 meters tells its own story. I was saying a year ago we had a World Cup warm-up event. Severin Freund, with efforts of 133 and 135 meters, won that in setting a hill record. And that was from gate 27. This favorable front wind here today means that we're at gate 18. Seaman Aman, if he gets back to his very best, it's all about the mental approach to the sport after that really serious concussion that he sustained at Bishopshaven. Bresadola to get to 120 meters and more. Not to be, I'm afraid. The 11-4 or 7-2 favourite varies amongst the bookmakers. Stoch, the defending world champion, between 7 and 9-1 you could have got before the start of this competition. Stefan Kraft, the bronze medalist from the normal hill, also 7-1. Seaman Aman, 11-1. Preutz, 13-1. Velter to do the double here, also 13-1. And Fanamel's odds are interesting, 15 to 17-1. Kobayashi. Well, again, no bonus points for him, but he looks as if he's going to make the Japanese team come the weekends. And I do think if they produce what they're capable of, then Japan could find themselves on the podium on Saturday. Other odds are Roman Kudelka, 15-1. Kasai, 21-1. And Schlierenzauer, well, only 26-1. He is a man who I could describe as a man who is suffering confusion. Zaniszczol of Poland. So Klemens Moranka leading for Poland at the moment. Zaniszczol adjustments during the flight, coming through the first 40 meters, and he was never comfortable. A telemark landing, by that time it was all too late, and down in 12th place. I can tell you that Klemens Moranka has now qualified. He's the first to qualify, 123 meters, 109.8 points. So Poland have definitely got one man into the final, and Kobayashi has joined him. Jan Matura, Czech Republic. Bit like Jakub Janda, this season has yet to take off. And that, I have to say, is one of Matura's better efforts. And it's a welcome one. Overall, this is not a bad performance considering what we've seen before from him. 122.5 meters, so up there challenging Moranka. And the deduction, 10.9, that's bigger than Moranka, and that's why essentially he's gone into second place. Kamil Stoch in pensive mood. Yamatura, one of the senior men on the tour at 35 years of age, yet to get an individual world or Olympic medal. And straight on to Jarkko Matai. Well, the Finns, they came here with not many hopes, but well done to their women in the 4x5 kilometer relay earlier in the day, taking the bronze medal and avoiding a really potentially horrible situation. 1931, the World Championships, 84 years ago, when Finland went home without a single medal. And that is almost impossible to conceive, but not for the first time, the Finnish cross-country female skiers have saved the day for Finland. So Moranka, Matura, Kobayashi, Ahonen, and the first four, Ahonen in fourth place, 5 meters separating them. This competition has got some way to go. Now, Poppinger trained really well. That's a little bit of a disappointment, 120 meters. And he, of course, got the pick for this competition ahead of last year's Four Hills champion, Thomas Dietart. Austrians hoping that another gold could come their way. Probably Stefan Kraft is their man with the best chance. And Gregor Deschwanden for Switzerland. Now, he should be capable of qualifying for the medal round. You can't say with Deschwanden that he's absolutely consistent, but 122.5 meters, that's the same distance as Matura, who lies in second place. Style, I would say, is not as good as Matura. Where's he going to go? Second, third, third? No, second. But only by 0.3 of a point. So Moranka, Deschwanden, Matura, Kobayashi, Ahonen and Kornilov now have all secured a place in the medal round. Vincent de Concevois. With a lifetime best when they went to Sapporo, so it has been a better season, but a shake of the head says everything. Schlierin's out, about to take the ride to the top, as we see Dmitry Vasiliev. Might well go over 120 meters, but odds on not to get a telemark landing. And he hasn't got a telemark landing either. I would be looking for a deduction of at least 4 points from the style judges. 115.5 meters. So he's lost out in both elements of this very special competition. Disappointing for Vasiliev. Yet to win a World Cup. He's come close. He's been second, he's been third. So Klemens Moranka still at the top of the table, and now Finland's Lauri Asikainen, who at the beginning of the World Cup season, I'm talking about November, December, that early phase, looked quite promising. He was top 10 here last year in the World Cup, but 16's the decision of the judges in terms of style, and Asikainen, a worry there because that does not qualify him at the moment, and Desmond to complete the top 30. Quite strong front wind at the moment, but again another man who hasn't technically got it right. In his first senior world championships, the junior world champion of 2012. Slovenians 5th in the mixed team event, in which Nets took part. He was 20th on the normal hill. And 9th place. Well, it's not stellar, but it's enough points to put him into the second round. But truthfully, when you look at that total of points, 94.6, he's not going to be winning any medals with that number of points from the first round. So 20 to come, and this leaderboard is going to change dramatically in the space of the next 20 minutes or so. And here you can see the men who have qualified. Now, it's only the top 10 that can be sure. So these men are all living in hope, particularly Matai for Finland, Maksimoshkin. Current leader, and whilst you see Clemens, Moranka, just keep in mind that Maksimoshkin is, along with Matai, the men who are hoping that others will fall by the wayside. But to do that, we're looking for athletes who would get a distance of less than 114 meters to squeeze into the second round. NordicSkiTV@gmail.com is our email address, and now the top 20, and this is where I think we're going to move up through the gears. Yuri Tepes couldn't hold his place for the Slovenians. Macias Pungatar has been given his chance by Goran Janus, and again another mistake, and I think this has let Jarkko Matai back into the competition. It surely has. So a little joy there for the 20-year-old Finn. Noriaki Kasai, wouldn't it be wonderful if he could get a gold medal here? He's surely got to be there or thereabouts, but I wonder whether it could be Takauchi tonight, who might be the strongest of the Japanese. Forfang, the reigning junior world champion of the season. And he's also short of 120 meters. In-run speed here out at gate 18. It's around the 88, 89 kilometers. I have a feeling that if this wind condition prevails, that we'll see a higher starting gate for the second round. Alexander Stockel there, the Austrian, who's had, by and large, a successful time. Of course, he's got a world champion here already, Runevelta. He'll be looking to do the double. I thought Bardal, who hadn't been jumping competitively for quite a while, I thought his sixth place in the normal hill was pretty respectable. Got a silver with the team, of course. Takauchi. Nicely done. And he's over 120 meters, which at the moment puts him into contention. Style-wise, skis were pretty aerodynamic, and I don't think he'll give away too many marks here. It's not 19s, but it should be around 18, I would think. And just 121 meters. There's his spiritual team captain, well, his real team captain. And second place, so he knows that already that he's going to have to raise his game for the second round. And now here's Anders Bardal for Norway. World champion on the normal hill, back in Val di Fiemme. Oh, that is just super. Really, really good. This man who suffered that left wrist injury, out for the best part of, what, 6 weeks, and coming back to World Championship form. And that was the best jump of the evening so far. For it is evening now, the sky is dark, the floodlights are fully on. Strong winds, but you still have to achieve the timing. 131.5 meters, and 1, 2, 3, 4 marks of 19. And whatever you've seen before, we've now moved into a new era. 16 points ahead of Moranka of Poland. And that is more than 8 meters in terms of distance. Piotr Jewa, 134 meters early in training. Tucks down, unique position here for Jewa. And that's not too bad. One of the things that characterized Bardal's performance was the fact that the wind that he received was a straight updraft, and of course that was really helpful. But again, take nothing away from Anders. You have to execute, you have to make the timing and the transition off the table. Jewa, 123 meters and 12 points off the lead. So Poland second and third at the moment, and now Daiki Ito. Well, Takushi underwhelmed me. Can Ito surprise me? Well, again, just the odd bonus point perhaps here. No, 119, so it's a deduction of 1.8 points for being shy of the calculation line by a meter. Wind strength is really fluctuating here. Bardal lost 11.5 points. This man will lose less than 5, as you can see. And 106 points puts Ito 20 points off the leader. That's being the equivalent of 10 meters behind the Norwegian leader. Bubbling up nicely. Marinus Kraus replaced on this big hill by the flyer from Germany, Markus Eisenbichler. Second in qualification yesterday, and he's got to about 122 as well. $122.5 in fact, and I would say this might just eclipse, in fact I'm going to say it's going to eclipse Jewa and put Eisenbichler into second place. Not hugely, but better there. Oh well, third. I wasn't reckoning on that for Eisenbichler. This is the man who is a man of few words, but very exact ones. And Jerne Damien, who in recent weeks has been visibly lacking power from this point. 87.8, not great speed. And the snow that's been made here is very different. It's as close to the real thing as we've seen in terms of artificial snowmaking. But one of the things that the boys have all been talking about is not only do you have to get the structure right for the humidity, but that's not so much a problem with refrigeration at -8. But the snow here is quite aggressive, and you need to get the wax to really do its job to minimize resistance. And out comes Freitag.
Ja, es war, glaube ich, ein sehr guter Sprung vom Tisch. Sicher könnte ich ein bisschen früher dran sein.
Deschwander saying that he's pretty satisfied with what he's done so far.
Wirklich zufrieden. Der Wind war, glaube ich, auch nicht so einfach.
Yeah, he was a little bit late. Oh, Freitag! Freitag! That is the effort that we wanted to see. And Germany with 124 meters, 18.5. And this is going to be the new second place, surely. I'm having a look at this. It's only distance that prevents him from overtaking Bardal. Lovely execution, skis aerodynamic. And apologies for over-talking Gregor Deschwander, but this was the effort we were looking for. Third place, in fact, and the reason for that is an 11-point wind deduction because of the strength of the front wind. So Freitag actually goes in behind Jewa. Bardal of Norway continues to lead, has a 12-point lead over Jewa, a 14-point lead over Freitag. Now, Simi Amand, does he go for the max? Oh, he's two-footed on landing. It's that sort of squat mark landing we associate with Simi. Now the judges, the distance is not bad at all. Up till now, this is mid-120s. And that is actually a telemark. Well, there's a difference of opinion. 2 marks of 18, 2 marks of 16.5. Take your pick. Seaman Oman slotting in to 4th place, 14 points behind the leader. Wind strengthening again. And out on the bar now, the world champion on the normal hill. His first ever major success. Previously, the world ski flying silver medalist of 2012, Rudiberta. And Runa continues to show the sort of form that he's delivered right the way through these championships. Joint hill record holder at 135 meters with Severin Freund. This is a meter or so further than Seaman Oman. The wind deduction won't be quite as great, but the star marks will be better than Simi's. Now, 2nd place, 118.1. Norway are 1st and 2nd. 8.1 points separating the 2 Norwegians. Bardal with an advantage of 4.5 meters over his teammate. Now, Gregor Schlierenzau. Well, Schlierenzau, this is the best we've seen him on the big hill. World champion in Oslo in 2011. Olympic bronze medalist back in Vancouver, but he's been a man who has been trying out so many different things. But that is a decent opener. And 2nd place, yes, 122.9, and he's now less than 2 meters behind Anders Bardal as Velter drops to 3rd. A couple of nights ago, he was, shall we say, out late, close to the midnight hour, and we were all getting a bit concerned about him, but when he comes back and produces that, he just reminds you what a talent the 25-year-old Austrian is. Schlierenzau, and now the defending world champion, Kamil Stoch, so much happier on the big hill. And arguably a man who can really do you some damage on the 2nd round. Stoch, 125, so already he's got work to do in terms of distance. Star-wise, it won't be 19s. 18s more likely. And now Stoch will have work to do. 4th place. 11 points behind Anders Bardal. And now Noriaki Kasai visualizing off, tucks down. Never won a big hill championship gold. And Kasai, he is the universal ski jumper. He represents Japan, but it's just become a worldwide engagement with this man in the sport of ski jumping. The Olympic silver medalist by a whisker, denied by Kamil Stoch, and he's right in the mix. We are so delighted. He's 7 points off the lead. That's within his compass. Less than 4 meters behind. Kasai in third, Welter in fourth, Stoch in fifth, Bardell leading from Schlierenzauer, and now Michael Heiberg. And that's not too bad. It keeps him just about in the mix there going into the second round. This man who led the World Cup rankings for a while in the early and middle parts of the season, until teammate Stefan Kraft got the better of him, and then of course it was the likes of Peter Preutz who came through to lead before the championships. Heiberg with 12 points to find at the moment, 6 meters. Not impossible, but when you start to get to 6 or 7 or more meters, suddenly it's not just down to you, to a percentage, it's in the hands of others. Now we still have plenty of chances here. Roman Kudelka, the #1 Czech competitor. 19th of the last World Championships. Missed out on the normal hill, finished in 4th place. Charlotte with his fingers crossed, his head coach. And into bonus point territory, but he needed to be closer to 130 than he is. 123.5. No particular problems in terms of style, but you can see here that the timing, which was just not finely tuned in the optimum way, and arguably that's not the best telemark he's ever produced, but nonetheless 18 to 18.5. But the reality is 12.8 points back. So another man like Heiberg with about 6 meters to find. Now, Anders Fannemel looked good in the trial rounds. The ski flying world record holder, 251.5 meters at Vikersund, just a couple of weeks ago. 2.5 times the length of your football pitch. That is not the demand tonight, but 130 would be brilliant for the Norwegian, and he's really gone after it. Norway with 2 in the top 5 at the moment. 129, he's right up there. Now, upper body parallel with the skis, reasonably dynamic, comes into the touchdown. Good telemark landing, spacing, straightish back. Really another Norwegian contender indeed. Bardell, Schlierenzauer, Fannemel separated by 6.5 points. Kasai in 4th place now. Welter, 3 Norwegians in the top 5. 3 to go. The winner of the World Cup a year ago and the hill record holder, joint held record holder. He wants more than the silver on the normal hill. He wants more than gold from the mixed team event, which he's already succeeded in. 134 for the favourite, and eclipses Anders Bardell in distance by 2.5 meters. But he eclipses him also in style here with 4 marks of 19 and an 18.5. The wind strength similar for Freund as it was for Bardell, but Bardell now drops to 2nd. Captain of the German team. In fact, would you believe it? 4.8 points the difference. So Bardell now in 2nd place and about 2.5 meters behind Freund. 2 to go. Stefan Kraft, first of the 2 rounds, the bronze medalist, behind Severin Freund from the normal hill. Oh, look at those ski tips come up. And that was a turbulence change towards the end of the flight. Mid-120s. Now Kraft, just thinking about this. I mean, he could have 8 meters to find here. 120 points for Kraft. In fact, I'll tell you the reason why he's where he is. The wind deduction dropped off, and as a result, he's gone into 4th place. And he's only 10 points, which is a little over 5 meters off the lead. So Kraft with an excellent technical jump and a little fortune in terms of the wind deduction. So here comes the World Cup leader, 22-year-old Petr Preuc, the runner-up to Severin Freund last year in the World Cup here in Falun. Disappointing on the normal hill, 13th, but the silver medalist on the big hill from 2013 in Val di Fiemme. And that's what the Slovenians were looking for. The meters that put him into contention. 134, right up there with Freund. Now, for me, style marks, remember, Freund got 4.19s and an 18.5. There's no way that Preuc can match those. And the wind strength, a huge deduction of 15 points. So Goran Janus may pump the air, but he's going to be disappointed when he sees where Preuc is going to be in the ranking at the end of the first round. Only a 16.5 there, coming from Inge Eriksrud of Norway. And 4th place. Position, not bad. Distance behind, 5 meters. So the honor of the first round here in Falun goes to that man, Severin Freund. 134 meters. Really stable, really solid, and clear in his mind what he wants to do. Good bit of sportsmanship there between him and Preuc, acknowledging Freund's achievement, and this is where we are at halfway. Now, remember, just 30 go through to the medal round. And those 30 will go in reverse order, so Freund will go last. But Norway strongly represented, 3 athletes in the top 8. And the defending champion, now Kamil Stock, with real work to do. You can see there 112 points, and that puts Kamil 18 points off the lead, and that is 10 meters plus. So Ito, these men with an awful lot of ground to make up, and Jarkko Matai squeezes into the top 30, and he will be the last to go. And Matai there in 30th place. And at the end of the first round, 37.8 points off the lead. For these men, their medal chase individually has gone. Many of them will have a chance to take part in the team event, but they join you and me now as spectators for the final round. Severin Freund, Germany, in the driving seat. So here we are in the interval of the Big Hill World Championship, and just looking at the top 3 positions. Anders Bardal's superb jump, wind assisted, but technically wonderful to watch. And what a reward for this man who lost so much time as a result of that left wrist injury. But this is really good form. And Severin Freund, the captain, a spirit of the German team, already with a silver and a gold from these championships, in the lead.